Hello everyone, welcome back to O-Level Oasis. We're moving ahead with our Biology 5090 exam preparation, and today we'll be working through past papers from Unit 7, Transport in Flowering Plants. This is an exciting milestone because once we cover this unit, we'll have completed all 7 chapters in this section of the syllabus. So, stay with me as we go step by step, break down the questions, and link everything back to the key concepts you've already learned. Let's get started. So, the first question we have is, Figure 1.1 shows an experiment to measure the water loss from a small plant in 24 hours. The diagram shows a potometer, which is a device used in biology to measure the rate of water uptake by a plant. In this setup, you can see a small plant with its roots submerged in water, a measuring cylinder holding the water, a layer of oil floating on the surface, and the whole setup placed on a top pan balance showing a mass of 214.3 grams. This arrangement is designed to indirectly measure the water loss from the plant, mainly through transpiration. As the plant absorbs water and releases it into the atmosphere, the balance will show a decrease in mass. The oil layer plays an important role here because it prevents water from evaporating directly from the measuring cylinder, ensuring that any recorded decrease in mass comes only from the plant's activity. Now, in the first part they ask, name the process by which a plant loses water from cells to the atmosphere. The answer is straightforward, we will write, transpiration. This is the correct term for the process of water loss from a plant to the atmosphere. Transpiration is essentially the evaporation of water from the stomata, which are tiny pores on the surface of leaves. This process is driven by the difference in water vapor concentration between the inside of the leaf and the air outside. The loss of water creates a pull on the water column in the xylem, drawing more water up from the roots. Next, they ask, suggest the purpose of the layer of oil. The answer here is, it prevents evaporation of water directly from the measuring cylinder. That is its exact function. Without the oil, water would evaporate from the surface of the cylinder, which would give inaccurate results. The oil acts as a barrier, making sure that any change in mass recorded by the balance is caused only by water taken up and lost by the plant through transpiration. Finally, Part 3 asks, describe one way in which a student could use this apparatus to obtain a value for the amount of water the plant loses in 24 hours. So, we'll write the procedure that, record the initial mass of the whole apparatus on a balance, leave it for 24 hours, then record the final mass. The decrease in mass shows the amount of water lost by the plant in 24 hours. Then we have Part B which says, water is lost mainly through the plant's stomata. Now here, they ask us to, name 3 types of cell that the water passes through before it reaches the stomata in the leaves. Write the names of the types of cell in the correct order in the boxes. So you'll see the boxes drawn here. So, the correct sequence we will write is in box 1 we will write, root hair cells then, in box 2 we will write, root cortex cells and in box 3, it's, xylem vessel, and then stomata. That's the exact pathway water takes as it moves from the soil, into the root, then through the plant, and finally out of the stomata. Now, the next question says, the experiment shown in figure 1.1 was repeated many times to investigate the effect of humidity on the rate of water loss. All experimental conditions were kept constant except for humidity which was gradually increased. It has given the axes for a graph. Here, the y-axis is the rate of water loss, and the x-axis is humidity. The task is to sketch a graph on these axes of the expected results for this investigation. So how should the graph look? Well, we'll draw it as a downward slope. That's because as humidity increases, the difference in water vapor concentration between the inside and the outside of the leaf becomes smaller, so the rate of transpiration decreases. The key point, the graph shows a negative relationship where water loss goes down as humidity goes up. And remember, it should be a curve, not a straight line. Next, the question asks us to explain what your graph shows about the effect of humidity on water loss. So, we'll simply write, at low humidity, the concentration of water vapor outside the leaf is much lower than inside, creating a steep concentration gradient. This causes faster diffusion of water vapor out of the stomata, increasing water loss. As humidity increases, the gradient becomes smaller, so water loss decreases. In other words, the graph shows that when the air around the leaf is dry, water escapes more quickly. But as the air becomes more humid, the driving force for diffusion gets weaker, so less water is lost. Now, we have another theory-based question which says, compare each of these processes, transpiration and translocation. So recalling this information, we'll simply write, transpiration is the loss of water vapor from the leaves of a plant, mainly through the stomata. Whereas, translocation is the movement of sucrose and amino acids in the phloem, from a source where they are produced to a sink where they are used or stored. Coming on to MCQs, we have a question which says, a leafy stem was cut from a plant and placed in a red dye solution for 18 hours. The diagram shows a transverse section of the stem after 18 hours. It says, out of all these options, which tissue will be stained red? So what we have to do is locate xylem, and we know that it is the tissue responsible for conducting water and dissolved substances, so the red dye will travel through xylem. Therefore, we'll mark option B, as xylem is on the outside of stems. Xylem gets stained because it carries the water and dye upwards through the stem. Next we have another MCQ, and here they have given us a diagram and it says, the diagram shows the movement of water through part of a leaf. And they gave these options and asked, which processes are involved in the movement of water at these stages. So we'll mark option D. Because the water moves into the leaf by osmosis, then evaporates into the air spaces, and finally diffuses out through the stomata. Option D is correct as it includes osmosis, evaporation, and diffusion, the 3 key processes in water movement through a leaf.